You're tuning in to The Deep Dive. Today we want to take you on, an ancient journey. It's about a really profound moment, a revelation that completely changed a warrior right there on a battlefield thousands of years ago.
Yeah, and it's amazing how it still offers such powerful insights for, the big challenges we face today.
Absolutely. So this deep dive is all about the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. It's known as Vishwaroop Darshan Yoga.
Which basically translates to the yoga of seeing the universal form. It's quite something.
And for this journey, we've been pulling insights from all over. We found a great YouTube explanation that really helps you picture this chapter.
And we've also looked at scholarly articles, discussing how relevant it is now, plus the traditional commentaries, which really break down the verses in detail.
So our mission today really is to unpack this grand vision, the one Arjuna experienced.
Right, and figure out how it can help you, the listener, maybe conquer some fears, get some clarity, find purpose in your own life.
Yeah, even when things feel super complex or, just overwhelming.
Think of it like a shortcut, a way to see the bigger picture.
Okay, let's set the scene a bit. So, just before this, in chapter 10, Krishna had been revealing his divine manifestations, his vibhutis.
Right, explaining how his power, his essence, is basically in everything, not separate, but part of the whole deal.
That itself is a huge idea, that the divine isn't out there, but right here.
Exactly. And building on that, Arjuna asks this, pivotal question. He says, okay, show me. Show me your true, all-encompassing form, the Vishwaroop.
It's not just idle curiosity, is it? It feels like he's voicing that deep human thing, that need to understand the ultimate power, how the universe actually works.
Totally. It's a universal question, and Krishna's answer right away tells you this isn't going to be ordinary. He says, you cannot see me with your natural eyes.
Which makes sense, given what he's about to show.
So Krishna has to grant Arjuna what's called divya drishti, a divine eye, supernatural vision.
So he can actually perceive this majestic, kind of overwhelming power.
And Arjuna's request is specific, isn't it? He asks to see that form full of knowledge, opulence, power, strength, brilliance. He wants the whole picture.
He's not asking for a watered-down version.
No way. He wants the unadulterated truth, and then it happens, the unveiling.
Right. So with this divine sight, what does Arjuna actually see?
Okay, so he beholds the Vishwaroop, and it's just astounding, unfathomable almost. Hundreds, thousands of different forms, colors, shapes.
All contained within Krishna's single body.
Exactly. It's this incredible, overwhelming diversity, things he'd never even imagined.
Like what specifically? The sources mentioned various beings.
Yeah, he sees all these cosmic forces, these deities, the Adityas, the Vasas, the Rudras, the Ashvini Kumars, the Maruts, all of them. And countless other amazing forms.
So it's not just like seeing a crowd of gods, it's like seeing the entire structure of reality itself.
Precisely. The whole fabric personified. Sanjay, who's narrating this, describes it as this huge form. Countless faces, countless eyes, divine ornaments, weapons, divine fragrances. Boundless, all-pervading, faces looking in every single direction, and the radiance described as brighter than 1,000 suns rising all at once.
Just immense light and power. Okay, so how does Arjuna react initially?
Pure awe. Total astonishment. His hair literally stands on end. He just bows down, hands folded, completely overwhelmed by the grandeur.
But it doesn't stay just awe-inspiring, does it? It shifts.
Right. That awe quickly turns into something else. Terror. Because the vision deepens.
This is where Krishna reveals himself as time.
Yes, as Mahakal. Time, the great destroyer of worlds. And the vision becomes terrifying.
What does he see then?
He sees all the warriors from the battlefield, his own side, the enemy side, Dhritarashtra's sons, Bhishma, Drona, Karna, all of them.
Doing what?
Rushing headlong into Krishna's blazing, fearsome mouths.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, like rivers pouring into the ocean, or like moths flying straight into a fire, just rushing towards their destruction. Some are even shown being crushed between his teeth.
That's incredibly graphic. The sources say he saw Krishna devouring those entire worlds with your flaming mouths.
And licking them again and again from all sides. And that the fiery light was warming the entire universe. It's this intense, all-consuming image of destruction.
Understandably, Arjuna freaks out.
Completely. He loses it. Fear takes over. He loses his composure, his peace of mind, doesn't know where he is, where to turn.
He actually cries out, right? Something like, seeing you touching the sky, multicolored, mouth wide open, huge shining eyes. My heart is full of fear. I can't find patience or peace.
Yeah. It's raw terror.
And it makes you think, when we face our own overwhelming bigger pictures, maybe a global crisis, a huge life change, a personal loss. That feeling of being completely lost, overwhelmed, terrified. It's very relatable. It's like Arjun's experience mirrors our own moments of intense challenge.
Absolutely. And maybe the insight there is that you can't really grasp the big picture without confronting all of it, the awesome and the terrifying. You can't just shrink away.
So right at this peak of terror and confusion, Krishna steps in again.
He does. And he gives Arjun this profound explanation. He reveals his purpose in that form.
Which is?
He says, I am time, the destroyer. He basically tells Arjun that the destruction of these warriors, it's already destined, it's already happened in the grand scheme of time.
But Arjun's role is different.
Exactly. Krishna clarifies that you are merely an instrument in this. He says, all these warriors have already been killed by me.
That must have been a mind-bending thing to hear.
Totally. And he even addresses Arjun with one of his specific titles, Savyasachin, the expert archer, the ambidextrous one.
Why that specific name?
It's like reinforcing Arjun's own capability, his skill, but also reminding him his role is to act as that instrument, almost removing the personal burden of the killing.
Okay. So after this huge revelation, what does Krishna tell him to do?
He tells him, rise, fight, win glory, enjoy your kingdom. He assures him of victory now that he understands the bigger picture.
And Arjun's response after seeing all that?
He's still trembling, his voice is choked up, but he starts praising Krishna's infinite power. And then he apologizes.
Apologizes. For what?
For how he treated Krishna before, like just a friend, a companion, calling him Krishna, Yadav, dear friend, casually.
Because he didn't realize the true scale of who he was talking to.
Exactly. He says, without knowing your influence, out of love or carelessness, I might have disrespected you, joking around, walking, sitting, eating. Forgive me for all those offenses. It's a very human moment of realization and humility.
And then he asks for something.
Yeah, he's had enough of the overwhelming cosmic form. He asks Krishna to please go back to his more familiar, pleasing form, either the four-armed Vishnu form, or even better, the two-armed human form he knows.
He wants his friend back, essentially.
He wants the form he can relate to that brings peace. And Krishna grants his request.
So he shows the four-armed form first.
Yes, and then transitions back to his beautiful two-armed human form.
And how does Arjun react?
Instant relief. He calms down immediately, gets his composure back. He literally says, seeing this peaceful human form of yours, I'm stable again. I've returned to my natural state.
It's quite a journey, from awe to terror to understanding, and then back to peace.
Absolutely. But then Krishna adds another layer. He explains just how rare that Vishwaroop vision actually is.
Right, he says it's incredibly difficult to see.
Exceedingly difficult. Even the gods, the devas, are always longing for just a glimpse of that form.
And you can't get there through the usual means, like studying the Vedas or doing intense austerities or charity or rituals.
Nope, none of those on their own are enough to grant that vision.
So, how does one truly see, truly understand, truly connect with that ultimate reality then? If not through all those traditional paths?
Krishna gives a very clear answer. It comes down to one thing. Undivided devotion. Bhakti.
Bhakti. Unalloyed devotion.
Yes. He says, through undivided devotion alone, I can be known like this, seen directly, and entered into. Meaning you can achieve that unity, that direct experience.
So it's less about intellectual study or ritual practice and more about the quality of your connection, your dedication.
Precisely. It's about the heart's relationship with the divine, a complete and utter focus.
And does he describe what that kind of devotee looks like? What qualities they have?
He does. He outlines it clearly at the end of the chapter. Someone who acts only for him, sees him as the supreme goal, is truly devoted to him, is free from attachment to, the results of their actions or material things.
Right.
And crucially, is free from enmity or malice towards any living being.
Wow, so it's a total orientation of your actions, your focus, your relationships, your inner state.
It's comprehensive, as the source puts it. That person who performs all duties only for me, is devoted to me, is my devotee, free from attachment and free from enmity. That person attains me. It's a complete path.
It's clear this chapter had a massive impact on Arjun, right there on the battlefield. But its ripples have spread so much further, haven't they? Let's talk about how this wisdom from the Gita, especially this chapter, still resonates today.
Oh, absolutely. It's seen by so many, not just as, a historical text, but as a living guide. For human problems, anywhere, anytime. It crosses cultures, eras.
I mean, it's one of the most translated books in the world, isn't it?
It is. And you see its impact on individuals profoundly. Like Mahatma Gandhi, she talked about how in moments of just deep despair, When he saw no light anywhere,
Yeah.
he'd turn to the Gita and instantly feel a smile return to his face. His quote is famous: "When despair stares me in the face, I turn to the Bhagavad Gita."
That's powerful testimony.
It really is, and others saw it not just as solace, but as a whole way of life. Sri Aurobindo, for example.
Right. He viewed it as a philosophical lifestyle, suggesting it holds different messages for different times, it adapts.
And it's not just philosophical or spiritual anymore, is it? It's popping up in surprising places, like psychology and even business management.
Definitely. People are increasingly looking at the Gita for insights into very modern problems, stress, anxiety, how to make good decisions under pressure.
You could almost frame Arjun's initial state, his confusion, wanting to quit the war in psychological terms, couldn't you? Like a kind of crisis or breakdown. You could. Some analyses see it as a classic case of maybe maladjustment or neurosis. And Krishna's whole dialogue is seen as a form of counseling, helping Arjun regain self-confidence and clarity.
And the way Krishna motivates him is interesting too, using those specific names, those phrases.
Yeah, calling him Parantapa, tormentor of enemies, Partha, son of Pritha, Savyasachan, the expert archer. From a psychological view, that's powerful, positive reinforcement. It builds him up.
There's also this idea linking different kinds of intelligence. IQ leading to EQ and then 6Q.
Right. The idea is that the knowledge from the Gita, the intellectual understanding, IQ, helps build emotional stability and regulation, EQ. And that foundation allows for the development of a spiritual quotient, so that deeper sense of purpose, connection, self-realization.
Okay, so how does this actually play out in, say, a company? You mentioned management insights.
Well, a key principle is karma yoga. The Gita says yoga is skill in action. Yoga karmasu kashalam.
Skill in action, meaning
It's about performing your duties skillfully, yes, but the crucial part is nishkam karma, acting without attachment to the fruits, the results of your actions.
doing the work for its own sake or for a higher purpose, not just for the reward or fearing the failure.
Exactly. And that's seen as a major stress management tool. If you're not constantly worried about the outcome, it frees you from that mental bondage, that anxiety.
And companies are actually using this.
They are. We found reports of quite a few major companies, Maruti Suzuki in India, Relaxo, others in real estate, tech networks, adopting Gita-based principles for management training.
Really? What kind of results?
The reports suggest pretty high success rates, like over 80% improvements in things like employee efficiency, productivity, and overall morale at places like Maruti Suzuki.
How does that work practically?
Often it involves a structured approach to problem solving, sometimes framed as achar, first listen, understand the principles, then vichar, think deliberate, then prachar, act, implement. It fosters a more mindful and less reactive way of working.
Okay, shifting gears a bit. What about the historical side? The origins and different ways it's been interpreted over time.
Well, the traditional view is quite clear. Krishna spoke it, Sanjaya narrated it, Vyasa compiled it. Simple enough.
But modern scholarship offers other possibilities.
Yeah, some scholars suggest the Gita as we have it today, 700 verses, might be an expanded version of an older, perhaps smaller text. Maybe it evolved from an earlier philosophical text, like something based on Sankhya or Yoga or an Upanishad.
And then maybe became more focused on Krishna over time.
That's one theory. It raises interesting questions about how texts develop and get layered with meaning across centuries.
And that layering is reflected in the interpretations too, right? Different philosophers focusing on different aspects.
Absolutely. You have Shankara emphasizing jnana yoga, the path of knowledge, Ramanuja focusing heavily on bhakti, devotion.
Tilak emphasizing karma yoga, action.
Right. And someone like Madhusudan Saraswati trying to synthesize all three paths. It shows the text's richness. It can support multiple valid interpretations.
Now, we also need to include a critical perspective, particularly Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's analysis. His view was quite different.
It was, and it's crucial to understand his viewpoint, approaching it from a sociological angle. Ambedkar argued that the principle of karma yoga, specifically the idea of doing your prescribed duties, svadharma, without questioning it, was used in his analysis as a tool to uphold social inequality, particularly the caste system. He saw it as reinforcing Brahminical ideology.
How so?
His argument was that it essentially told people, especially those in marginalized castes, to accept their situation and duties without striving for change, thus legitimizing the existing social hierarchy and hindering social reform. He viewed it as a philosophical justification for maintaining an unjust status quo.
So, a very critical take on its social function. rather than just its spiritual message.
Exactly. He saw it as potentially making people passive about challenging injustice. It's a powerful critique from a specific social justice perspective.
And it's important to present these different viewpoints, right? Not necessarily to take sides, but to show the complexity.
Definitely. The fact that the Gita can inspire spiritual devotion, management techniques, and sharp sociological critique just underscores how layered and significant it is. It really invites us to engage with it critically from multiple angles.
So bringing all this back to the listener, after exploring the vision, the philosophy, the history, the critiques, what are the practical takeaways from seeing that universal form, the Vishwaroop Darshan, for your life today?
Okay, let's distill some core lessons.
First one, see the bigger vision. Just like Arjuna saw everything fitting into this huge cosmic picture.
Try to look beyond just your immediate tasks or small goals. Connect them to a grander purpose, see how things might be interconnected.
Like maybe a student thinking beyond just passing the next test and seeing how their education fits into a bigger dream, like writing a book or solving a problem.
Exactly. Seeing the larger why behind the what.
Okay, lesson 2, let go of fear. This seems huge after seeing the terrifying aspect of the Vishwaroop.
Right, if you can connect with that sense of a larger power, a bigger reality that contains everything, even the scary stuff.
Then maybe your personal fears and anxieties start to shrink. They seem less all-consuming.
Precisely. Imagine, say, a startup founder facing constant rejection. If they connect their work to a greater purpose beyond just personal success, maybe that fear of failure loses some of its sting.
It links back to that idea of surrendering the outcome, doesn't it?
It does. Which leads nicely to lesson 3. Live with devotion or dedication.
Meaning dedicating your actions.
Yeah, dedicating what you do to something higher, something beyond yourself. It can transform even mundane work into something more meaningful, almost like a divine experience or service.
Like a sales manager, seeing their job not just as hitting targets, but as genuinely serving their customers' needs.
Exactly. It shifts the focus from me to we or the purpose.
Okay, 4th lesson. See your work as vast.
This encourages you to see even small, everyday tasks as part of something significant, something connected to that larger divine undertaking Arjuna witnessed.
So a teacher isn't just grading papers, they're shaping the future. That kind of perspective shift.
Precisely. It elevates the everyday, it makes you realize every action contributes to the whole tapestry.
And finally, lesson 5. Cultivate surrender.
This is about recognizing that you're not solely responsible for controlling everything. There's a peace and a kind of courage that comes from entrusting your challenges, your efforts, to that larger power or flow.
Like that young professional stressed about office politics. Maybe finding calm by dedicating their best effort, but letting go of controlling the outcome.
Yes, it's about finding strength in letting go, paradoxically.
Okay, these are great lessons,
Yeah.
but how do you actually do them? Any quick tips for daily practice?
We can definitely suggest a few simple things to try. First, maybe visualize, just 5 minutes in the morning. Think about your biggest dreams, your biggest goals, and consciously connect them to a larger purpose.
Okay, visualize the connection. What else?
Second, maybe an affirmation. When fear or anxiety pops up, have a short phrase ready. Something like, I am part of a greater power, or I dedicate this challenge. Just something to recenter yourself.
Simple, but could be effective.
Third, connect one task each day consciously to a larger meaning. Maybe it's helping a colleague. Maybe it's doing a chore with presence. It's just one thing.
Make it intentional.
Fourth, appreciate. Maybe once a week, just consciously notice and appreciate a positive quality in someone else. It fosters that sense of connection and reduces the otherness Krishna speaks against.
Nice one. And
Fifth, dedicate. At the start of your workday or before a specific project, consciously dedicate your effort. Silently say, this work is for a greater purpose, or whatever feels right to you.
frame your intention.
Yeah, these are small steps, but they start to rewire your perspective towards that bigger vision.
So wrapping this up, the 11th chapter, this Vishwaroop Darshan, it really teaches us that life itself, in all its awe and terror, is this grand vision of power. Every moment, every action is part of it.
And the core message seems to be that true knowledge, true peace, comes from recognizing that interconnected power and then acting within it, with devotion, with dedication, and with a sense of surrender.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. Consider Arjuna. What if he hadn't seen that universal form? Would he have found the strength, the clarity, the conviction to overcome his despair and do what he needed to do?
It seems unlikely, doesn't it? That vision, that connection to the bigger picture, was transformative. It gave him peace and strength because he connected his actions to that greater power.
So the invitation for you, listening now, is to embrace that same wisdom. What if you made a small commitment today to try and connect your work, your challenges to a bigger purpose, to consciously try and release a fear, to look for the divine, that interconnectedness in the world around you?
It might seem like a small shift, but as Arjun's story shows, taking that step, opening that divine eye in your own way, can profoundly transform your experience of life.